So understanding what leadership is and what leadership should be and what leadership should be about, do you think that you're a good leader?
Well, it depends who you're talking to. It depends entirely who you're talking to. But I think that, that what we've tried to do in the Western Cape is at a very small scale. And I don't think we should flatter ourselves by thinking that we are dealing with a massive set of coordinates that are so great that the Western Cape becomes the sum total of your world and so forth. But I think that what we've tried to do in the Western Cape is to anticipate where the country is going to, where the world is going to, and to locate the Western Cape within such a change. It's not been an individual effort. I think that we've had the basis of a very young team within the provincial government's cabinet, a very diverse team and a very diverse set of senior managers that we've been able to pull in and really to allow them the freedom to anticipate what's around the corner. And I think that that has given rise to us being able to conceive at a time when the world was not really beginning to conceive it, of how the Western Cape should become a home for all. To understand the essential fault lines of the Western Cape. We have poverty. We have unemployment. We have crime. That's down the road. That's what you can see when you look down the road. What you need to see that's behind you and around the corner is the fact that these things are exacerbated because there's no coherence in the Western Cape. There's no cohesion in the Western Cape. Any fault line becomes a source of major division. Any identity becomes an issue around which people split. And so it is one thing to see the problem. It's another thing to understand the fault line. And that is why we've, for example, understood that you've got to set a vision that we can be more united, more cohesive, more coherent. And that is where the issue of a home for all comes in. And then, that you've got to underpin it with a strategic grasp of what needs to be done. Because all vision and no strategy is as useless as all strategy with no vision. You've got to have the two working together. And the strategy that underpins the vision of a home for all is what we've called Ikapa Elihlumayo, the Cape that we grow and share. So that you, in a sense, say, we are going to grow this economy, but at the same time, we're going to have to share it in order to deal with the material conditions that people are dealing with. So it's the combination of vision and strategy, the imagined and the real. And I think that it's in how we can make the two synergize that I think that the art of things become possible. And so, without saying it, I think that that has been fairly useful to keep us going in a Western Cape that is very contested. The Western Cape is the one province that all parties think they can win. And so it's very contested at the formalistic level of politics. I think the Western Cape is very contested within parties. And that is sometimes more difficult than the formal contest between parties. Because whenever you're dealing with disjunctures within parties, you're fighting with your hands tied behind your back. You can't say what you want, you can't do what you want, you can't deal with those disjunctures in the same way that you deal with inter-party disjunctures. And so leadership is understanding the difference. And I've not always understood it. I've not always understood it, and sometimes I've tended to speak with the same bluntness that I'd use for inter-party, sometimes used to speak for intra-party.
Okay.
And I think it's later understanding the nuances in managing all of those kind of things.